Fear is not a problem of the mind, it's a problem of movement. One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is that we can outthink our fears, that if we just spend enough time analyzing, planning, preparing, and visualizing, the fear will magically disappear. But here's the raw truth. You can't think your way out of fear, you have to act. Fear lives in the future. It feeds on uncertainty. It thrives in the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Your brain creates stories: what if I fail? What if I get judged? What if I'm not good enough? And those stories start looping in your mind. The more you think about the fear, the more it grows, and the more it grows, the harder it becomes to move. This is the trap. Overthinking is fear in disguise. It's fear wearing the mask of intelligence. You tell yourself you're being smart, that you're just planning, that you need to be prepared. But deep down, it's not strategy, it's hesitation. It's avoidance, it's fear trying to stall your destiny. Thinking doesn't dissolve fear, only action does. Action cuts through doubt. Action silences the mental noise. Action takes you from powerless to powerful. It shifts your focus from what if to what's next. The moment you take action, your brain receives new information, not imagined outcomes, but real experience. And that's when fear starts to fade. Fear thrives in the unknown, but when you act, you shrink the unknown, you create clarity, you gather proof, you move from guessing to knowing. Even if you stumble, even if you don't get it perfect, the very act of doing is what breaks fear's grip. Let's be honest, you're not lacking motivation, you're stuck in a loop. You're waiting for confidence. You're waiting for the fear to go away. But confidence doesn't come first, it comes later. It's built through action. Every small win you create by moving through fear adds to your confidence bank. You earn your courage by doing the very things that scare you. Here's the truth most people never hear. You don't need to feel ready to act, you need to act to feel ready. That's the paradox of fear. If you wait to feel fearless, you'll wait forever. But if you act in the presence of fear, you take away its power. Fear shrinks when you stop feeding it your attention and start starving it with your motion. Think about the last time you did something that scared you. Maybe it was speaking in public, applying for a new job, starting a business, or opening up emotionally. You were afraid before you did it. But once you did it, that fear either disappeared or drastically dropped. Why? Because reality replaced the story in your head. Because you did it, and that's the key. You have to move, you have to act. You have to break the cycle of thinking, doubting, and delaying, even if it's messy, even if it's uncomfortable, especially if it's uncomfortable. The breakthrough you want doesn't live in your head, it lives in your steps. Here's something powerful to remember. Action isn't just physical, it's transformational. One action can shift your identity. One move can rewrite your story. One bold step can make you see yourself in a completely new way. And once you see yourself differently, you show up differently. You stop letting fear steer your decisions and you start leading your own life. You were not created to live inside the walls of your fear. You were made for more than hesitation and hiding, but you will never feel the fullness of who you are unless you act. Thinking is safe, but growth is not safe. It's risky, it's uncertain, it's scary. But it's also the only path to everything you want. You don't beat fear by reasoning with it. You beat fear by disobeying it, by getting up and moving even when your mind screams at you to stay put. That's where the magic happens, not in the safety of thought, but in the courage of action. So the next time fear tells you to wait, to plan more, to get more ready, don't argue with it. Just move, send the email, make the call, say the words, show up. Not because you're fearless, but because fear doesn't get to decide anymore. The 5-second rule: how to outsmart your brain and take action instantly. There's a small gap between knowing what you need to do and actually doing it. That gap is where fear, doubt, procrastination, and hesitation live. And the longer you stay in that gap, the more your dreams shrink and your confidence fades. But what if there was a simple, science-backed way to override hesitation and take control of your life immediately? That's exactly what the 5-second rule does. The 5-second rule was created by Mel Robbins, and it's deceptively simple. When you have an instinct to act on a goal, count backwards 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and move. Just go, no second, guessing, no overthinking, no waiting. This countdown is more than a motivational gimmick. It's a mental tool that changes your behavior, rewires your brain, and builds confidence in real time. Here's why it works. Your brain's job is to keep you safe. It doesn't care about your goals, it cares about your comfort. So the moment you hesitate on anything uncertain, uncomfortable, or risky, your brain sends up warnings. Wait, what if you fail? What will people think? Maybe later. This mental chatter leads to paralysis by analysis. You stay stuck. You play small. You avoid the very action that would change your life. But when you count backward 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you interrupt that mental pattern. You shut down the inner dialogue. You shift control from your habit brain to your decision-making brain, and in that window of control you launch. You act before fear shuts you down. You beat hesitation before it beats you. The rule is powerful because it's not based on feelings, it's based on action. Motivation is unreliable. Confidence is built, not born. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll rarely act. But the 5-second rule doesn't care about your emotions. It simply pushes you to do what you already know you should do. That's why it works for anything. Waking up on time, going to the gym, starting a conversation, sending that email, or facing your fears. Think of all the times you've said, I should, I need to, or I want to. Those moments are windows of opportunity, but without immediate action, they close. The 5-second rule is the bridge between intention and execution. It's how you transform thoughts into results, not someday but now. What makes this rule so transformative is its simplicity. You don't need a coach, you don't need a course, you don't need the perfect environment. All you need is 5 seconds of courage, 5 seconds of doing something uncomfortable before your brain convinces you not to. Here's how you apply it. You wake up and want to hit snooze. Count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up. You see someone you want to talk to. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go say hi. You need to submit something important but feel scared. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hit send. You're doubting yourself before a big opportunity. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, step in anyway. Over time, these small moments of action compound. You start seeing results. You build momentum. And more importantly, you start to see yourself differently. You no longer identify as someone who waits or avoids. You become someone who moves, who leads, who follows through. That identity shift is where true confidence is born. It's important to note that the 5-second rule won't eliminate fear, but it will help you move despite fear. It won't guarantee success, but it guarantees effort. And effort is what separates average from extraordinary. This rule turns fear into fuel and hesitation into motion. The most successful people in the world don't wait to feel ready, they act fast. They trust their instincts, they move in moments when others freeze. That's what the 5-second rule teaches you to do. Stop thinking, start doing, take ownership of your time, your choices, and your life. So the next time you feel the pull to do something meaningful, don't wait. Don't overthink, don't hesitate, count backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and go. Your future self is waiting on the other side of that decision. You're always one decision away from a new life. We often think transformation takes years. That success is a slow grind. That massive change requires perfect timing, countless resources, or the approval of others. But the truth is far more powerful and far more personal. You're always one decision away from a new life. Not 1 year, not one plan, not one miracle. Just one decision made with courage can shift your direction forever. It's not the size of the decision that matters, it's the intention behind it. Some of the most life-changing moments begin with the smallest acts of boldness, a decision to speak up, a decision to walk away, a decision to start, a decision to stop waiting. That's where the real transformation begins, in the quiet, private moments when no one is watching but everything is changing. The reason most people stay stuck is not because they don't know what to do. It's because they delay doing it. They overthink, they second guess, they wait for permission or for the fear to fade. But clarity doesn't come before the decision, it comes after. You gain insight, strength, and vision not by standing still, but by stepping forward. Think about it. One decision to prioritize your health can change the course of your entire future. One decision to end a toxic relationship can restore your peace. One decision to pursue your passion can open doors you never knew existed. One decision to believe in yourself, truly believe, can unlock a level of confidence and momentum that changes your whole identity. What makes this idea powerful is that it removes your excuses. It puts the responsibility back in your hands. You don't need to wait for better conditions. You don't need everyone to agree. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need the courage to decide and then act. Fear wants to keep you undecided, because when you're undecided, you're immobile. You rehearse the worst case scenarios. You trade action for analysis. You convince yourself that someday is safer. But life doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards movement. And every breakthrough you've ever had started with a single choice to do something different. Don't underestimate the power of one decision, the decision to change your habits, the decision to forgive, the decision to set boundaries, the decision to invest in yourself. These aren't just personal development buzzwords, these are turning points. And the people who rise, the people who succeed, the people who live full lives are those who learn how to make decisive, value-based choices even when fear is loud. You are not stuck because you lack options. You are stuck because you haven't chosen, and that's good news because it means your freedom, your next chapter, your transformation is always within reach, not years away, but one choice away. What if you stopped waiting? What if today, right now, you made the one decision that changes everything? The decision to take yourself seriously. The decision to say yes to your calling. The decision to stop shrinking and start showing up. The decision to stop reliving the past and start designing your future. It's not just possible, it's available, and it's yours the moment you decide. Yes, it will be uncomfortable. Yes, it will be scary. Yes, it will stretch you, but do you know what's even scarier? Regret. The regret of never trying. The regret of letting fear sit in the driver's seat. The regret of knowing you could have but didn't. That's what happens when you choose not to choose. So what's the decision in front of you? What's the move you've been avoiding? The conversation you've been dreading? The dream you've been silencing? Your life is not waiting on luck, it's waiting on you. The door is not locked, it's just unopened, and your decision is the key. You are always one decision away from a new life, a better life, a freer life. A more authentic, courageous, purpose-driven life, and the moment you decide, everything begins to shift, not because the world changes, but because you do. So make the call, take the risk, say the words. End the cycle, start the journey. The life you're dreaming of is not as far as you think. In fact, it's just one decision away. Most fears are based on the past or imaginary futures. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions you'll ever experience. But here's the truth most people never realize. Most fears are not real. They are based on the past, on something that already happened, or on a future that hasn't even occurred. In other words, fear is rarely rooted in the present. It's either a memory replaying or a nightmare you're predicting. Let that sink in. Most of the time, you're not reacting to what's actually in front of you, you're reacting to what's behind you or what might be ahead. And the tragic part is this. When you live in fear that's built on the past or future, you rob yourself of power in the present. You become paralyzed by things that don't even exist anymore or may never happen at all. Let's start with the past-based fear. Maybe you were embarrassed once, so now you fear speaking up. Maybe you failed before, so now you fear trying again. Maybe someone betrayed you, so now you fear opening your heart. Your brain remembers pain, it's wired to protect you, so when a similar situation appears, it hits the alarm. But here's the mistake: just because something happened once doesn't mean it will happen again. The past is meant to teach you, not trap you. It's a place to visit, not live in. But fear convinces you that history will always repeat itself, that you're destined to suffer again. That's not true. You're not the same person you were. You've grown, you've learned, you're stronger now. But fear doesn't care about your growth, it cares about keeping you small. And unless you challenge that fear, it will quietly shape your future. Then there's future based fear, the what ifs. What if I fail? What if they reject me? What if I lose everything? These fears are rooted in uncertainty. Your brain tries to predict danger, so it creates mental movies of disaster. But most of the things you fear will never happen. You're suffering in advance. You're rehearsing failure before it even arrives. That's not preparation, that's sabotage. Fear about the future is imagination misused. You're using your mind to visualize defeat instead of designing victory. You're giving power to outcomes you don't want, rather than focusing on the steps you can take right now. The future is unknown, yes, but fear makes it feel decided. It tells you the ending before you even begin. That's how dreams die before they're ever born. Here's what you need to know: the only place you have power is in the present. Right now is where change happens. Right now is where action lives. Fear from the past can't touch you unless you carry it forward. Fear of the future can't control you unless you hand over the keys. The moment you return to the present, you take your power back. So ask yourself, is this fear based on what I'm experiencing right now? Or is it something I've dragged in from my past or imagined from my future? If it's not real in this moment, then it doesn't deserve to dictate your choices. You can feel it, acknowledge it, but you don't have to obey it. What's powerful is this: when you stop running from fear and start questioning it, it begins to lose its grip. You realize fear is not fact. It's a feeling, and feelings pass. What remains is your ability to decide to act, to move forward anyway. You don't need to eliminate fear to move forward. You just need to recognize where it's coming from and remind yourself that the past is over and the future is unwritten. Don't let old pain or imagined loss block today's progress. Your future deserves better than your fears. It deserves your courage. It deserves your action. And remember, you've survived every single thing you once feared. You've overcome moments you thought would break you, and many of the things you were once terrified of, they never happened. That's proof you're stronger than your past and more capable than your fear wants you to believe. So start living in the now, act in the now, decide in the now. Most fears aren't real, they're echoes and illusions. But you're real, your power is real, your potential is real. Don't let fake fears block a real future.